He became the strongest, and somehow, that's exactly what made him the most alone. There's a moment, quiet, almost easy to miss, where power stops feeling like a gift, and starts feeling like distance. And that's the space Gojo Satoru lives in. But this isn't really a story about strength. It's a story about what strength takes away from you, if you don't know why you have it. In Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo Satoru stands at the absolute peak of the world. He isn't just powerful, he's untouchable. A sorcerer so far above everyone else that the balance of the entire system bends around his existence. On the surface, he's confident, playful, almost careless. But that's the version people see. Because when you exist at a level no one else can reach, connection stops being natural. And purpose stops being obvious. What happens on screen is simple. After facing death and awakening a new level of power, Gojo rises, reborn, untouchable, almost divine. At face value, it feels like triumph. The moment the prodigy fully becomes what he was always meant to be. But psychologically, something else happens here. This isn't just the birth of strength. It's the death of equality. In that moment, Gojo doesn't just surpass his enemies, he surpasses everyone. And when no one can stand beside you, you don't just win. You separate. Most people have felt a version of this, even on a smaller scale. When you grow faster than your environment. When your mindset, your goals, your abilities move ahead of the people around you, it doesn't just feel like progress. It feels like distance. And the uncomfortable truth is, not all distance feels like success. On screen, we watch two best friends slowly drift apart. Not through a single betrayal, but through a shift in how they see the world. At face value, it's an ideological conflict. One chooses protection. The other chooses control. But beneath that, it's about something far more human. Gojo becomes strong enough to carry everything alone. Geto becomes someone who can no longer accept the weight of the world as it is. And that's where the fracture happens. Because strength changes your perspective. And perspective changes your relationships. Gojo doesn't lose Geto because he isn't strong enough. He loses him because he no longer needs anyone. Or at least, that's what it looks like. This scene quietly asks a painful question: what happens to your relationships, when you become the version of yourself you once dreamed of? Because sometimes, growth doesn't bring people with you. It leaves them behind. On the surface, Gojo teaching students feels almost ironic. The strongest man alive, choosing to guide others instead of dominating everything himself. At face value, it seems like responsibility. A powerful man shaping the next generation. But psychologically, this is the first time we see purpose begin to replace isolation. Because Gojo isn't teaching just to create stronger sorcerers. He's trying to create people who won't end up like him, people who can stand beside each other, people who don't have to carry everything alone. There are moments, small, almost invisible, where Gojo's energy drops. The jokes fade, the confidence softens, and for a second, you see it. Not weakness, but distance. Because being the strongest doesn't mean you're free from pain. It just means no one else can fully understand it. At face value, Gojo is in control of everything. But psychologically, he's trapped in a role he can't step out of. He has to be the strongest, because if he isn't, everything collapses. And that kind of responsibility doesn't feel like power, it feels like pressure. Gojo Satoru represents a paradox: strength gives you freedom, but it can also take away your sense of belonging. Because the stronger you become, the less people can relate to your struggles. And humans don't just need success, they need connection, they need to feel understood. Without that, even the greatest power starts to feel empty. His journey isn't about becoming the strongest, he already is. It's about answering a much harder question: what is strength for? Because strength without purpose becomes isolation, but strength with purpose becomes responsibility.
Domain expansion.
You don't need to be the strongest sorcerer in the world to understand this. You might be the one in your family who holds everything together, the one who doesn't get to break down, the one people depend on. Or maybe you've outgrown your environment, and suddenly you don't feel as connected as you used to. Growth can be lonely. Not because something is wrong with you, but because change creates distance. And if you don't find a purpose for that growth, you end up powerful, respected, and alone. But Gojo shows another path. Instead of asking, how strong can I become? He asks, who can I lift with me? And that shift changes everything.